Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. This is Anonymous T. Hope you're having an amazing day today. So today I am reacting to finally the season finale of Love is Blind Season 2 USA, and I'm glad it's over, you guys. I am absolutely ecstatic this is over. I think we have a reunion coming, I want to say next week, March 4th. And honestly, I'm not shocked. I predicted most of what took place. As you guys know, I did a spoiler video that was alleging that there was concerns heading into filming of the following season because there wasn't many couples that got married this season compared to, what took place and everything else previously. So I wasn't surprised. I think the only couple I was surprised about was kind of 50-50 on was Jared and Nyana, because the initial previews had made it seem as though she was like a runaway bride. But that obviously was intentional, just as they made it look as though Danielle and Nick were not going to get married. So, and those ended up being the only two couples that got married, which I actually was kind of shocked overall. I was shocked actually that Danielle and Nick went through with it, because we saw so much drama between them that I felt that they do not have a healthy way of communicating their problems and communicating their issues. And so they immediately project on previous insecurities and previous issues that have come up in previous relationships, as opposed to addressing the issues head on and having mature conversations. I feel as though the people who chose to end things, I felt those people were in a place that they had the maturity to say, hey, I know my worth, I know what I deserve, and I'm not just going to get married just for the sake of getting married or just for the sake of this reality show, and I'm going to choose myself. Now, what I didn't understand in the Shake wedding is why Deepti still went through, or Deeps went through with all of, that really nice, she had a beautiful wedding dress and everything else. Like, that's the part I don't understand. Like, I'm not about to go all out if I know that I'm about to say no at the altar. But that's just me. I would have just wore something basic, like a basic gown. But that's just me. Because the way that Deeps was dressed, I thought, oh, well, maybe she might say yes. But Shake is just so toxic. And the fact that he was so excited about Deep saying no, it was just cringe. And for him to say after the fact he would have said yes, I don't believe him. I think he's just saying that to save face. He knew he didn't want to marry her. He absolutely knew he never wanted to marry her. And I'm glad she sensed it. I'm glad in her conversation, because it sounded like her conversation with Ayana, she saw red flags and she knew the red flags in her own situation, which is why they were both emotional. And I think for her, that sealed, her decision that she was going to be done. And she knew her worth. So I am glad for that. Shane and Natalie, I'm not surprised about. And now it kind of puts a few things into question, because even though we came for Shayna and how messy she was being and how she was giving Jessica vibes into, choosing somebody else she really wasn't into for the sake of potentially meeting the person she actually wanted, but didn't actually, end up being, proposed to by that person. She made a comment, though, if you guys remember, in the midst of that messy conversation that was inappropriate completely. She made it a point to keep calling Shane and Natalie fake. And it stuck with me because I felt, not necessarily that they were a fake couple, but that there was something off with them as a couple. That it seemed too good to be true, because as you guys know, for the most part, they had a decent edit compared to the other couples. Like, out of all the couples, I would say they had the best edit out of all 5 couples, if we're keeping it honest. Because if you think about it, we always saw Nick and Danielle always fighting or getting into an argument or something. Something's always escalating between the two of them. And then it goes back, each person reverts back into their own insecurities. We saw all of the drama with Mallory and Sal, just even stemming from the whole Jarrett stuff, as well as the drama with the alleged ex-girlfriend or the alleged girl that Sal was seeing before the show began. And that girl just showing up at his sister's place, and their sister's kind of just, enabling that situation. So I knew at that point that was too toxic of a situation for either of them to continue. And I'm not even sure that Mallory would have said yes. And she's trying to say, oh, maybe. No, she wasn't going to say yes. She wasn't into it. She just wasn't. And Sal sensed that. That's why he said no. Also, I feel as though with Deeps and Shake, that was completely toxic because you could tell he wasn't into her. He wasn't trying to be intimate with her. He wasn't trying to show any affection towards her. And women sense that. Women sense and know when they are being desired and when they're not being desired. And so there was no way that, Deeps was going to go through with a friendship couple wedding. No. That wasn't going to take place. And so yeah, that's why I was and I wasn't shocked about Natalie and Shane. I think, it was telling some of the comments that were made on the honeymoon of, what their definition of joking is. And also, I think they either edited out or we never saw too much of them fighting or arguing. Or that sort of thing. Like, their biggest issue that we saw was the Shayna drama. But outside of that, everything else was pretty minimized between them. And I found that a little sus. Because they basically had the edit that was expecting you to think that they were going to make it and go through with it. And that they were going to be the couple that, yeah, they may have some issues, but they're still going to get married at the end of the day. But that turned out to be Danielle and Nick, which is very surprising. So yeah, it just seems like they actually remind me of the couple from Married at First Sight, who I think the guy was a bald and the wife was like a redhead. Their names are escaping me right now, but their whole union was completely volatile. It was nothing but arguments that we saw, but then they would have all this intense makeup sex and doing all this other stuff. And we thought they were going to get a divorce. We thought that they were going to split up because we just didn't see it for them. And that was kind of what the vibes Danielle and Nick were giving, was that this isn't going to work. They're not going to make it. And in fact, they end up making it. So yeah. And that's the one thing I don't like about editing sometimes, is that sometimes production tries to fool us, right? And it happens on every single dating reality show. The couples that you think are going to make it, the couples that they set up in the edit for you to root for, 9 times out of 10 aren't always the ones that actually work out, right? And then you're kind of left with more questions than answers. But then the couples that are the most dysfunctional, that you see in the edit, that is just drama, that is just a lot of red flags, it's a lot of issues, and you're basically set up as the viewer not to root for that couple or not to root for the particular person in that couple, they're the ones that end up together. And it happens all the time. It happens on all these reality shows. It happens on Married at First Sight. It happens on The Bachelor. It happens on all of these shows. Dating reality shows. It happens on every single one of them. That they set us up to think that, the couple that is getting this gold star edit. The only time that really didn't vote true was really with Lauren and Cameron with Love is Blind season 1. They really kind of defied the odds of, really showing a true, genuine romance, and, them really working at making things work, addressing their issues head on. Even the same thing with, Barnett and Jess and everything else. They still made it a point to show the real and rawness of it. And I feel like now, I felt it was a red herring when I saw the lack of episodes this season of Love is Blind. The lack of episodes told me that this season didn't work out the way that they wanted it to. Because if these couples worked out, I think we would have had more episodes. We would have had more content to evaluate and assess. But it seemed as though, for the most part, a lot of these couples had little or minimal interaction with their families, which was a red flag. I felt Natalie waiting to the very last minute to tell her parents even about this was a red flag. It was just a lot. And the look that Natalie's mom and Shane's mom gave each other told me right there this wedding was not happening. They were not saying I do. So it was just a lot. It was just a lot, you guys, because I said in the last video, when I did that initial review, that we were heading into Married at First Sight territory, because these are the same producers as Married at First Sight, you guys. And we were heading into that territory where it gets to the point that you're just watching, you're like watching for the drama, but not anticipating really any of these couples to be successful anymore. And I felt like I wasn't expecting this to happen so soon after the success of the first season. I was hoping that we would have had more couples that were successful, like at least 3 out of the 5 couples would have said I do. But I feel like now we should really just expect maybe 1 or 2 couples moving forward, if that, to actually go through with the wedding. Because it seems as though certain people are playing a part, to get to the end, to get to the wedding, or agreeing to be in a certain couple with certain people to get to the end and get to the wedding, and then, ultimately still say no. But for me, the thing is, and see, really, I don't even know, the Shane and Natalie situation is a little peculiar to me, because there was a lot of stuff going around, like this past week, of people trying to sleuth and figure out whether or not they were really still together. And so people got confused when they both posted like pictures or stories from the bar to make it look like they were at the same location. But if you guys pay attention in the episode, that actually was the bar from like their wedding, from, like wherever they got married at, or wherever the reception was supposed to be at, wherever it was, that was the same background of like the wine and the alcohol and everything else and the liquor and all of that. However, there was a story somebody posted, I think that they were like hugging or whatever. But the other thing was that I found pretty interesting was that Shane and Natalie were not following each other on Instagram, because them following each other on TikTok didn't matter to me. It was the fact that they didn't follow each other on Instagram I found sus, and that Shane was flirting with Shayna a lot in the comments, and doing a lot of heart comments and doing all this other stuff. And I felt as though if you were married to Natalie and you already knew that there was beef in terms of Shayna trying to start trouble and making the joke that if things didn't work out, she had a friend, why would you be in Shayna's comments? And you know that Shayna liked you. So I need to watch back, though, again, Ayanna and Jared's wedding, to be honest with you, because I was so shocked that both said yes, that I didn't even like fully process, because I was expecting like this long wait. I was expecting there to be like all this, uncertainty and things of that nature. Like, I had no idea what we were about to be in for. Although I will say that out of the 5 couples, Jared and Ayanna had the most chemistry, had the strongest connection. So I'm not surprised that they got married. I think I'm just surprised, based off of the edit that production played us, that maybe this wasn't going to go well, because they emphasized so much. They tried to make it seem as though Mallory and Jared might still be a thing, or still might have feelings for each other. And then the concerns over their communication skills, because it seems like both hold in their true feelings and tell their friends and family what they really feel. So for instance, Jared was more so into the fact that Mallory was already successful, already had her own place, already had a successful career. So therefore, he didn't have to, worry about finances on his end, or if there was some, passion projects he wanted to do that didn't make as much money, he still had Mallory that could foot the bill for everything. Whereas with Ayanna, she is still in the process of getting through, some of her career aspirations. So therefore, she may not be working as often or may not be making as much as she would normally be making once she gets to whatever career path she wants to take and finishes the required training and education and certifications or licenses or whatever to achieve that goal. So that would mean that Jared would still have to be like the primary, source of income until, Ayana completes those things. So that's why I was concerned. For one thing, is the differences in terms of finances and career paths. And then the other thing I was concerned about was the partying. And Jarrett going out 3 nights a week and coming back home 3, 4 not even 3 in the morning. Ayana said if he could come back at 3 in the morning. I was like, wait, what? So he's not even coming back at 3 in the morning? Oh, no. And so then the comment about Ayana said she hopes he's not drunk and he's still taking a shot or whatever anyways. Like, it was just all... I was just concerned, you guys. I was just very concerned, but I will see what takes place. I will see what comes of this reunion because I am very interested to see what is taking place, what has transpired. And I'm wondering if anything has changed for any of the couples. If any of the couples are dating that said no, if the people who are decided to get married, if they're still going strong, or if, anybody filed for divorce or anything like that. So it'll be very interesting. I'm going to do some sleuthing myself to see if I can find out any information prior to next week's reunion episode, and I will definitely report back. But let me know your guys' thoughts if you guys watched the finale. I couldn't wait. I think I watched it like an hour after it premiered because I just needed to see the spectacle. I needed to see what was going to happen. And I think I was just so thrown off by Danielle and Nick saying yes that I had to take a moment because I was like, wait, what? I'm like, am I being punked? But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys again very soon.